All right, so we know the biggest problem for the Timberwolves in this upcoming season. There's a lot of things that aren't question marks anymore, but one is, and that's the point guard situation. So, as you can see right here, I have four different point guard options for us because that's been the biggest complaint across the channel, across Twitter or X, the Everything app. Um, every media source that's talking about us is questioning our, what is the plan for the Timberwolves at the point guard position. We drafted Rob last year, but the eighth overall pick isn't looking like an eighth overall pick right now. He's looking like a Jared Culver, and Conley's not getting any younger, and Bones Highland is not a starting caliber point guard. So, what exactly could be the options for the Timberwolves? Number one, we're going to talk about it. It's obviously the option in front of us. We go Conley, Dante, and Rob splitting minutes at the position in some way, shape, or form. While I think this season it makes the most sense, it doesn't make a lot of sense to go and grab someone else this year and spend a lot of money on them. It is one of the options, and that's just is what it is. Like at the end of the day, it wouldn't shock me if we're stuck just spending the money we're spending this year and we got to address it down the line. Or we're sitting here at the trade deadline. It's like, well, now or June? Like, when do we prefer to make a trade for a point guard? Um, because obviously these guys just aren't going to cut it. It's just not going to do. If we make it back to the Western Conference Finals, I'll eat my words, especially if we win it. But we've seen that that's the position we have the biggest hole at. Shooting guards locked up with Ant, small forward, power forward, center. I feel confident in each of those positions and the depth we have at them. Point guard, it should not be a merry-go-round of Conley today, Rob tomorrow, Dante the next day. Like, that doesn't work for me, and that's not a winning mentality or kind of plan. Like, you need someone who can be the number one guy and help take pressure off of the other four positions. Like, we need a certified scorer and a guy who can swing the ball around. Conley, I know he's going to finish top 10 in all-time assists. Dante, great shooter. Rob, he still has a lot of development to go. So all in all, those guys are great. I think they're great backups to whoever we could get at the position. That's just my 2 cents on it. I think it makes a lot of sense for us to stick it out this year, see what we've got in each of those guys, and see who's worth bringing back. Dante still has a contract for this year and the following one. Rob is locked up in his rookie one. Conley, I think, is expiring this year, if I'm not incorrect, and he's probably just going to retire otherwise. He's up there in age, guys. Like, he is old. Old man Conley is older than we think, and that just you can't win with an almost 40-year-old point guard. I'll say it. You can't. You maybe could, but you can't. It's no. I don't believe that is going to help us win an NBA Finals. And at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. So let's make the move and get a point guard that we could do that with. Now, let's go into the second one. And let's say we do make a move for a point guard that we can win a finals with and then continue to have on the roster. And he'd be close to the same age as the rest of the roster, and it makes sense for him to fit in and grow and develop a little bit more with the other guys. That would be a big, big swing with the Cavaliers. Now, what would a trade with the Cavaliers look like if we were going to take that big of a swing? Here's an idea. We're going to get Darius Garland, the guy we should have drafted instead of Jared Culver, the obvious pick there. Whoops, who knew that Jared Culver was only a March Madness guy? Everyone who watched that tournament, everyone knew that Jared Culver was going to be the guy that boomed up the draft and didn't pan out. It couldn't have been more telegraphed. But here we are. Darius Garland gets picked by the Cavs, and he turns out to be an awesome player. So we're getting Darius Garland, Jared Allen, and Sam Merrill, kind of a cap filler there. But yeah, that's a lot of money. And I'm sure you're wondering, who are we giving up if we're getting all that money back? Rudy Gobert is going to the Cavs. They're going to get Julius Randle and Leonard Miller as well. Yes, it leaves a bit of a hole at the power forward position, but no, it doesn't. Let me tell you why. Jared Allen's going to slide in at the center position just nice. Nas can move into the starting lineup. Darius Garland's our point guard, small forward J-Mac, and a shooting guard. And then the bench is still the bench. The bench is still there. We still have Dante, Rob, Conley are all there, and Dante can move to backup shooting guard. The small forward position gets a little shakier, but TSJ and Clark are still there. Power forward position, any of those guys can slide in there just fine. And then the center, we've got Baron J and Nas that can both slide in and play those center minutes when they need to. Honestly, the trade makes a lot of sense. It feels an easier hole to fill than finding a new center. I feel like we have the center position filled or figured out, but we don't have the point guard position figured out. So let's go grab Garland. Just spend the money. We're actually saving $150,000 according to my cap calculations here, but this makes a lot of sense. And I think Jared Allen still has a lot of talent left in him. He's locked up for 4 years. Garland's locked up for 3 years. Sam Merrill's even locked up for 4 years at $8 million. I'll take that. That's a good bench guy right there. I'll absolutely take that. Smaller guard. He's probably gonna be a bench guy, but that's fine. It's a good swing at a trade. Giving up Randall and Rudy sucks, but to make the money work here, I think it's absolutely worth it. It's in a league where you're only going to be able to afford two certified All Star guys. Taking Garland away from the Cavs is a great move, and Garland and Ant can be our two for sure. Like they're going to be All Star guys. I think it honestly gets Garland in a better position. The Cavs, yeah, it's Donovan Mitchell's team. Just get obviously Garland wouldn't be the man on the Timberwolves, but Donovan Mitchell just hogs the ball over there. I don't know. I don't see Garland fitting over there much longer. He starts to feel like he might be the odd man out the way that Colin Sexton was eventually. So I guess we'll just have to see. But I think this trade could work if we were to make a trade. I don't think we're going to. Like I said, I think we're going to roll with the first option. But option number two is what I would call the long shot, but maybe one that would absolutely win us some games. Moving to the next one here. What if we signed a former lottery pick? Yeah, so we wouldn't actually have to make any crazy moves to make this one happen. No, nothing crazy here. It's not really going to take on much more money. We're not giving up a ton. We're going to give Dante DiVincenzo and a second round pick for Scoot Henderson. Yeah, that's it. The Blazers are a team who are kind of in no man's land right now. They're going to get Drew Holiday and Damian Lillard, which is going to be good for them. They're going to have a lot of fun there with that roster next season when both of them are healthy and playing together. They have their center position kind of locked up with Klingon and Jans Hansen, but Dante could help them as a shooter. We have shooting on our team now. I feel a little more confident in the shooting. I would miss Dante's shooting, but he would actually be able to crack the lineup over there a little better than he will with the Timberwolves. Not to say that he's not going to be a starter this year, probably, but I think he could be a starter there, especially this season. Get a little bit more under his name, get a little more consistency. We've seen that's what it takes for him to be at his best is consistency. He would definitely have more opportunity to start there and find that. And for us, we get Scoot Henderson. He's a young point guard who's making $10 million for the next 2 years. He's not going to take a lot of money on after that at this rate unless he absolutely booms. But I think with his athletic style of play and the way that he's able to create shots, I feel like he'd be a great fit on the Timberwolves. So he's one that I'd want to go chase if we were to just be like, who can we fix? Who is a guy we can bring in and fix, Scoot Henderson is that guy to me. And this is probably my second option, I would say, in terms of likeliness. On these four, that is the most likely one I think that does happen is that we go and get a young guy like Scoot Henderson that can maybe fill the hole after Conley retires this year, and trading for him at the deadline probably makes the most sense. Moving into the last trade, or the last option for our point guard, we just address it in 26. We just address it in the draft. We don't try to figure it out now. It doesn't make sense for us to try to figure it out at the deadline and spend more money. Instead, we just go get a young guy who we have a lot of faith in. And the point guard position, after looking at it, it's not that bad. It's actually pretty deep this year in comparison to some last ones. And also the Nets hogging like three of them in this last draft. I think you could look at Tankathon and be like, oh, well, that's who's going to fall. We don't know where people are going to land yet. So just looking at it, the guys that I like the most aren't even in. Like 9 is the highest one on their list. Raquel Brown Jr. from Louisville doesn't interest me a ton. The first one that catches my eye again is Caden Boozer, who we've talked about on here. I think he'd be a great option for the Timberwolves. Tahad Pettiford, Milo Uzan from Houston could be an interesting one. He's 23 years old, so he's a little bit older, has more experience. And then Boogie Fland, even at Florida. Those 3, 4 guys there are the ones that interest me the most. We know that we like to draft guys that have a little bit more experience, whether that's in college or G League or whatever. We don't like to get the freshman player, and we did that with Rob, and that felt forced and unnatural for the Timberwolves. So I think that's why he's struggling to develop. We're not good at developing guys. Ant and Jaden are like two outstanding like outcomes. That doesn't happen a lot with the Timberwolves. Look at Wiggins, look at Cat, look at um, Levine. Like it just doesn't happen. They always happen after they leave or like the tail ends of their time in Minnesota. It just is what it is. I think it's got to do with who was here. But drafting a point guard, I think will happen next year. After going back to back center, Tim Conley definitely has to please the fans in some way, whether it's the first round, if we even pick in the first round, that is. I don't think we do. Let's double check what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay, so they have us at the 23rd pick on their mock draft right now. That's mean. I don't love that. They've got the Magic and Lakers picking after us. Not cool. Not cool. Tankathon, not cool with that. But I think it could make a lot of sense grabbing one of those point guards, whether it's at the late of the first round or we trade into the early second round and grab a guy there. It's great options. I would prefer to grab a guy at the end of the first round just because you do get the extra year with them and the contract is a little bit more money, but you get the security of keeping him and you don't have to worry about paying him sooner if he does turn into a success. Um, those are the 4 options I think make a lot of sense. Go ahead and drop me your comments on who you would like to see the Timberwolves grab at the point guard position, or if you believe in the 3 guys we have now for the future. But until next time, you guys all take care, and I will see you then.